go. Hey guys, welcome back to Buster's Corner. We are at um, Daytona Road, and we got Philip Henry with us. Hey Philip, how you doing, buddy?
Doing well, Bob. How about you?
Good, good, good. Happy Saturday. So Philip is our resident expert on road racing because I'm not, and so we're going to be showing you Philip's stuff that he put together for us this week. And that's him running around the track. And so I'm going to jump over to Discord real quick. I want to share something with you guys that Phil and I thought was just brilliant, coming from our buddy Parry here from Australia. I want to say he's from Australia, um, and he put this up. I'm gonna read it to you guys. It's really tough if you're not a regular road course driver, the RC. Asking an asking an oval racer to become an RC driver overnight won't happen, and asking a road course driver to be an oval racer, it won't happen over a week. But if you focus on staying on the track rather than lap times, you'll be surprised how well you do. And that is so true. That
Very
is
true.
so true. Actually, I had brother Bill follow me the other day on the track, and kind of showing him my line, and he actually got a faster lap time. I said, "How'd that feel?" He goes, "I feel like I was going slower." And he got a faster lap time.
Yeah,
Okay,
smooth and steady.
so we'll see. All right, so the first, well, I'm not going to go through the motec on this because it's quite a handful to go through that. But we're going to get Philip's going to get in his car, and we are going to follow him, and he's going to walk the track for us, real slow,
Walk
and
the track.
walk the
Yeah,
track.
not jog the track.
Not John. We're going. That's right. Last. This is our take two, you guys. We did this morning. Come to find out, everything that Philip had to say was not recorded. So go ahead and jump to your car, and let's start with the pit road exit. And now I was looking at this a little bit earlier, and I have a tendency to stay to the left where the grass is. But I'm leaving a whole bunch of room off to my right, is what I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing.
All right, you got me.
Yep, you're on. You're on.
Alrighty. Yeah, so pit road, tricky pit road, slow and steady is going to get you out of here. Um, we're going to walk it, turn the engine noise all the way down as much as possible. Um, coming to turn, or the first horseshoe. Uh, Breaking point for the first horseshoe, right here in these dotted lines. Plain and simple. Um, You're gonna want to stay out wide is what I like to do. Stay out wide. Um, you're gonna come around. You want to kind of come in here and almost kind of late apex it a little bit. Come down here and then venture out all the way out here to this extra asphalt they have out here because it's usable. You don't get an X, and if you are able to come out here, you don't have to pinch off the corner. So you're able to come out here. You're able to get some a little bit extra speed, a little bit. You gotta wait on the throttle, and you're gonna come up to the kink. Kink is a very treacherous turn. You missed the turn in point and the lifting point just a little bit. It kind of varies based on how much speed you're carrying. Um, but you want to come out here, go through the kink, and right here for the western horseshoe is right here on top of this line or this asphalt area is what I like to do. Um, Bob, I think you said your breaking point's a little bit later.
Yeah, right about there.
Some people's out here,
Right down the
yeah, right here at
cones
the cones.
when they first
Um,
start.
I cannot push it out that far with my brakes. I will end up losing the rear end. But you want to come out here, and same thing with the other horseshoe. Enter in almost kind of late apex and venture all the way out here to the rumble strips. If you can get out here on these rumble strips or kind of ride on the rumble strips, ride on them, better you can get it. And then you're going to come to the turn 6, the hardest turn. You got 300 and you got 200. I start braking around the 200 mark right here. So right here, there's this little uh, road that goes to the right, or the 200 sign. That's where I start my braking, and you're going to just stay to the right, stay to the right. And in turn 6, you've got these dips over here on this left-hand side. If you stay out here, you'll see where the darker part of the area is, where it's better to be. But if you stay to the left, it gets bumpy and it gets slick, some kind of sandy. Um, and you will end up losing the rear end of the car, and you will just spin out. But you're going to walk the car all the way up to, after turn 6, walk it all the way up to the wall, and then back down all the way for the speedway. And then you got going to be coming to turn 5, get into gear 5, as you most likely as you come off the banking, and then you're going to come up to the bus stop, and right here you've got 3 and a 2. So I just passed the 3, and you can see the 2 right out my windshield, for me. And just as it gets about halfway or in the middle of my windshield is usually when I start braking, or about the 2.5 to 2.25 mark, as far as distance wise. You're gonna want to brake, stay out, and the bus stop is very, very. It's not like Watkins Glen, where you get in, you turn right and turn left. The bus stop here is you turn left, you kind of have to wait on it, and it's bigger, a little bit more of a patience. You have to get in it and then turn back right. And it's very, very narrow because of the turtles they've added. And then you're going to come up here to NASCAR 3 and 4. Going to get all the way up into 4th gear. And then all the way coming around on turn 4, you'll see the Daytona logo on the wall. And then right above the Daytona logo is a 7. And then there's a 6. The 7 to 6 mark, and some can push it to the 5, is about the mark where you're going to want to start braking.
Yeah,
The earlier you brake,
right there. I just use a Daytona sign. I don't even notice these 7s and 6s up here. Right there, the black Daytona sign on the wall. That's when I
yeah,
start getting into the braking and downshifting.
hmm yeah. And so some people look at the Daytona. I look for the markers.
I didn't even know they were there. I didn't even know they were there until just now.
Yeah, I forget. I was in a session with somebody, and they were like, "What markers are you looking at?" I was like, "The markers on the fence," and they were like, "I don't see no markers on the fence. I was right above the Daytona logo." And so, um, then you got the front stretch chicane, and these turtles are awful. You're gonna want to stay off of them. They upset the car. You can get stuck on them. Um, I'm not gonna attempt to go over them again because I will have to tow the car. But right here, the slower you can get it, and the straighter you can get it right at this point, the faster and harder you can accelerate onto the front stretch and back up to the wall, and then right to the line you go.
Okay, run a lap and call out your gears for us.
Alrighty. 3rd, 4th, 3rd, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 1. 2. Oh, yep, there I did it. I did not get to the wall exactly like I said. You can try and pinch it off, and that is what's going to happen. These cars are so
Big and fat.
rear end loose. Yeah. Um, they're just not designed to be ran on 5th, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4,
Keep going. Do one more lap. I'm going to switch over to cockpit on the next lap.
Alrighty.
Give you a chance to redeem yourself down in that corner. I've seen you hit those tires before.
Yeah, I've hit them quite a many times.
Yeah, that's better.
Oh yeah. And that's the thing, you can get somebody that has just as much practice as the next guy out there, and if you don't have any practice, you're gonna definitely be messing that up.
Let's see, 149. Oh,
Yeah, I wish.
154.
154 even.
There you go. Looks good. All right. 154 even. There you go. I was close to you at 158. I was so close.
Yeah. Hey, consistency is gonna be key this week, like Perry said.
Yeah,
You just keep it on the track, and you'll be fine.
that's it. That's it. Okay, let's see. What else we want to talk about? You want to talk about tires a little bit? Cold tires?
Oh yeah, cold tires is, guys. Whenever you're going out for your this the drop of the green flag, you've been riding around the whole lap, and your tires have no heat in them. So either you got to find a way to get some heat in them, or you just need to be careful in the first half of the infield and going into turn one, on the drop of the green flag, because them cold tires are just, they're awful. I mean, you can do it in turn six. You saw I still was over there loose. Anytime the tires don't have just enough heat in them, because as you're rolling and just going straight, you're not really putting enough heat in the tires to keep them up for the next uh, turn. So what I always see is creating heat in the tires is friction back and forth, which is why we see so much heat in the right front and the right rear at on ovals. Whereas here, you're not always on the right front or the right rear or the left side. You're just on one tire, essentially, or one side of the tire, and then it switches back. Well, then that means the other side is cooled. So one, maintain balance in the tires, heat balance in the tires. Um, check them brakes just a little bit. Make sure the next turn you don't have to adjust that brake bias. Also, make sure you leave a little room in your brakes to adjust the brake bias, because uh, you may end up overheating the fronts, and 10 laps in you're locking up the fronts, so or losing some balance at the front.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. So we got Philip's got two setups he posted in the community setups. The one he ran right now, and he's also got one same setup with a different brake configuration, with a little more front brake bias in it, if you will. Because when you get a lot of rear brake bias, the car has a tendency to turn left under braking, heavy braking. And that's something
Mm-hmm.
that Phillip can handle, but most guys can't. So he's got that set up over there. And then I put one together, the 1.2, Buster's 1.2. And for me, it's just a more stable. It's not quite so loose in the rear end. So if you're not a gunslinger, you're just trying to get your laps in and not too risky, then I'd go with my setup. But if you're a mudslinger and you can get that back end whipping around and you don't mind all that stuff, then Phillips is the way to go, definitely.
And Bob's is just as quick. I ran both of them um, side by side and compared the data, and both of them they got their strengths and their weaknesses. And Bob's is I ran an identical lap time to mine.
Mm.
Um, so in no way, shape, form, fashion is it just because it's more stable. It means it's slower.
Yeah, I just feel like mine's got more bumpers on, like the bowling alley. They got those bumpers on there. I just got
Hmm.
a little more forgiving, if you will. While you were talking, I followed one of your laps under the blimp, and actually it was quite interesting. And I suggest you guys do this to yourself. Uh, you just saw Philip's lap run um, on the blimp, and you can see his lines. I'm gonna do this to myself. Next time I run a lap, I'm gonna go back and watch my replay and see if I'm actually hitting the marks that I think I'm hitting. Um, I thought I was in tight on that turn, but come to find out, I had another, 10 feet to the right I could have gone, or 10 feet to the left I could have gone. Um, Especially on your corner entry. Are you actually out there as wide as you can get, cutting that corner back in?
Hmm.
That's a cool little tool. Yeah, I'm watching your thing right here. It's actually pretty cool. You
Yeah,
got,
I'm not near as wide as I thought I was on turn 3 down there for the first horseshoe.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Wow, I thought I was wider right there. A couple of those turns you were kind of cut in short, but that's why you didn't get the 151.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
also the temp's a little high at
What are we
87
at?
degrees.
Oh wow, yeah, we're 87, cloudy 79
That's
degrees.
hmm
Hmm.
And that's another thing you're going to need to pay attention. Just because you think that's a road course, you talked about this morning. The horsepower and the ambient temperature
Hmm.
is just because it's close to the same track temp or something doesn't mean that you're going to be able to get the same straightaway speed or acceleration speed or braking that you did before.
Exactly, and Tom's coming out with that in the new, I think one of the new motec books coming out, where he's showing you in there in your garage what your ambient temperature was and what your track temperature was, because ambient temperature affects the horsepower in the motor. You can go to a track and be down 20 horses, but the track temperature might be the same. And the track affects the tires and the heat in the tires, and the ambient affects the horsepower of the motor. So you're not, I mean, if you're trying to compare, as you're going through your build, doing your own setup, you need to make sure you're trying to compare oranges to oranges the best you can. It doesn't always
Mm.
work that way, but at least you know what's different in the petri dish, if you will. All right, what else do we got? I think that's about it. That's all we talked about this morning, I think, even though we talked a whole lot longer.
Fuel
Oh,
strategy.
yeah.
You may want to talk about that one because you can explain it a whole lot better.
Sure. So one of the ideas that we were kicking around, I've seen it at other road courses, and maybe it was the Roval. If you're not a fast guy, okay, and let's say you're doing 201s and 205s on your lap time, keep an eye on your fuel because you don't need tires at this track, but keep an eye on your fuel. And you might be able to stretch a whole fuel tank where the fast guys doing the 154s, 151s are got to stop for fuel at some point because I think they're probably about 10 laps short, 8 to 10 laps short. But if you can stretch out your fuel, and maybe that's even using fifth gears more often, going up a gear, and maybe not downshifting as quite as fast or upshifting quite as fast. You hear them on TV all the time. I need you to save me 2 laps. Well, and then Darrell Waltrip, well, how's he going to do that? Well, he's going to, slow down a little bit sooner. He's not going to hit the gas pedal so hard. He's going to grab another gear and kind of coast through, or grab fifth gear sooner. Like on the backstretch, when you hit that fifth gear, grab fifth gear a little sooner, save a little fuel. Especially if you know your laps down, and then if you know you're 2 laps down, because the guys are so fast, you're not running 30 laps, you run 28. So now you can pit on lap 14. So keep an eye on your fuel, and if, like I say, if you're not one of those guys in the top 5, you might go with a pit strategy and maybe just pit for 1 gallon of fuel. 2 gallons of fuel is faster than 10 gallons of fuel, and take no tires, and you'll improve your position, I think. Sound about right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think you're gonna want to take a little more because I'm averaging about about 1.1 gallons per lap. But if you're down there around the point 0.7 range, point 0.6, and I mean, you could easily stretch it out much farther than somebody that's using 1.1 gallons per lap.
So I jump in my car right here, and my fuel gauge pops up, says I'm good for. I ran a couple laps earlier, so it's already got my fuel figured out. I can run 21.8 laps, so about 20. So I'm going to be 8 laps short. Um, and so now, if you have the stint analyzer, you'll see that I'm in my car right now, Philip, showing these guys up here in the top right. It says fuel to add right there. So that's going to tell you right there if I need to go into pits how many gallons I need, right? And then it also tells me right here fuel and how much fuel per lap I'm using, right? Now for you that don't know, all right, so let's say it says I need 5 gallons, right? I'm going to go through my buttons over here until it says fuel. Did I miss it? Oh, I missed it. Springs, tires, fuel right there. And right here, instead of add 20 gallons, you hit that down like that and say just give me 3.5, give me 5 gallons. And watch this. Let me see. Does this work? So if we came into pit, I'm not going to take any tires, and I'm going to add 5 gallons of fuel. How long does that take? Stop. Oh, that happened too fast. I guess they didn't really mock it up very good. All right, you guys get the point. I'm not saying it might not win you a race, but it might get you a top 10 instead of a top 15.
Yeah, yeah, very much so.
All right. What else? Is that it? Are we done here? Let me think.
Trying to think. I don't. It really wasn't. There wasn't that much that we talked about too much. I went through the walkthrough a little too fast.
No, you did much better this time.
Oh yeah, this morning I went through too fast.
This morning, yeah, going slow down, slow down. That's Phillips. This I downloaded the Phillips 1.3 with Bob's brakes. He's got the different calipers up here than what he's running on his. And actually, when we talk about the brake master cylinders, you really need to adjust those to you, your equipment, and your size of your foot. Um, and I'll show you something here real quick. Let me actually, Philip, I'm going to go to live screen here over here, so you're not missing nothing here. Where am I? Screen, screens, primary screen. There you go. Now you see what I'm doing. I have Hussenfeld pedals on mine, and a lot of people do. And you'll see here, like this is my throttle. So when I come on throttle, I have a slow pedal curve here. All right, so I'm not stomping the pedal when I come up out of the corner. So that helps me out quite a bit. And also with my braking, I come in and it kind of levels off, right? And then it goes up on that angle. See what I'm doing? So with me having this type of a situation, these master cylinders might not work for you. Okay, so that's you guys need to play with that and get that in yourself. And once you get, this is a good track to try. Once you get a brake pedal system that works for you, write it down. So when you go to Roval, if we go someplace else, you're liable to use the same setup that you have that you're using for here. Okay. Here, here's Philip's notes. Big thanks out to Parry. He did a lot of test laps for us there at the end for Philip. Brakes are very touchy. Recommended brakes vary. There you go. All right. I think I'm done. You got anything else?
No, I don't got anything else.
Keep it under the half an hour, just enough for somebody's lunch break at work to watch the video. That's the idea.
Yep.
All right, buddy. Say goodbye. Happy race day.
All right. Have a rest day, y'all.
All right, guys. See you guys later.